The theme today on Keeping It Real with Alexander Garrett is three things. Black cats, Beltran, and Déjà vu. Somehow all of them intertwine, don't they? Because isn't it funny here on Keeping It Real with Alexander Garrett? Alex.Garrett21 at yahoo.com, GARRETT21 at yahoo.com. Isn't it funny that the day Carlos Beltran gives the Mets a case of deja vu? Remember, he was a Met for all those years. Yeah, people remember him for the strikeout in Game 7. But let's be honest, he was a clutch player for the Mets leading up to that moment. And unfortunately, that one strike call looking to end Game 7 from Adam Wainwright is what pretty much defined the rest of his tenure, or the entire tenure. But Beltran yesterday being announced at Citi Field as a new Met manager. A pretty important moment there. And then later that night, a black cat storms MetLife Stadium. A black cat. I've never seen one at a football game, but there he was in the middle of the Giants-Cowboys football game on Monday Night Football, jinxing maybe, clearly jinxing the Giants because the Giants get blown out 37-18. And Jones had another couple fumbles. But I just think it's funny that the day Beltran brings it back at Citi Field, a black cat, which in 1969, the 50th year since the Mets won the World Series in 69, the 50 years ago, a black cat ran in front of Leo DeRocher in the Chicago Cubs dugout. So yesterday felt like all kinds of deja vu. And then here's where my story comes into play. Yesterday on the train, I'm on the way out to Long Island. And by the way, you have to vote today. Joe Borelli is running for public advocate. You have to vote for him. He wants to keep the mayor in check. I think we all should do that. And Frank Morano on our podcast the other day, talk about the city charter. Well, the questions, as we were talking about, are on the back of the ballot. So you have till 9 o'clock. If you get to the ballot, if you get to the polls now, between now and 9, and you want to vote for your respective races, public advocate, citywide, vote for whatever you want. But if you want to keep this mayor in check, Joe Borelli seems like your guy. And vote on the back of the ballot for the NYC Charter 2019, the 5 questions, yes or no. Read it carefully, read the fine print, and then make your decision. But they are on the back of the ballot today. But deja vu struck me on this train. It was very shocking to me. Why shocking? Well, the fact of the matter is that when I started hearing a phrase called, from someone saying, using, and we're talking about someone's kid using their parents for homework help as a crutch to lean on. I mean, that kind of just, I had heard that phrase before in that same kind of conversation. So it was like a surreal moment of deja vu. Have you ever had that? Have you ever had a moment of deja vu? Which is very baseball, by the way, because of the whole phrase by Yogi Berra, deja vu all over again. But have you ever had it? Because yesterday I did, and I Googled why someone might have deja vu. It turns out our temporal lobe might be stressed out. We might be stressed out, so our temporal lobe just seizes, has a seizure, which is almost unheard of. It's like an epileptic seizure is what they call it. But there really shouldn't be a cause for concern. However, if you do have deja vu, I recommend you maybe do a stress test, because they say that's one of the big causes is stress causes deja vu. And it was a very surreal experience. Yet after that, I felt calmer. And then the fact that yesterday was the whole day of deja vu. Carlos Beltran in a Met uniform as manager. The Black Cat storming a field. This time Giants, Cowboys, Monday Night Football. And now my experience. As Steely Dan says, we're going back, Jack, to do it again. And maybe that's a good thing. I don't know what this Beltran signing is going to do. How it's going to be played out. I do know, however, that I'm both nervous and excited for Met fans. Nervous because he's never been a manager before. Nervous that the Mets missed out on an opportunity of Joe Girardi coming to New York as a Met manager this time. So my question is deja vu really worth it? Is having the Mets go back in time really worth it? This 2020 season and beyond. We'll have to see, but I don't know. I'd hate to say I don't think so, but I might be right. And I always get stressed out when teams go back in time. Because Rangers, they keep playing the 94 season as if it's the best thing. No, you can grow from that. You can do better than that. You can win again. New York Rangers. The Giants, they continue on to the 2008-2012 Super Bowl. As great as they were, look at last night. They blow a lead against the Cowboys, and the Cowboys rout them the rest of the way. The Jets lean on Joe Namath so darn much, and Curtis Martin, that when they go back, it's just like, but look at now. You might think you have a quarterback in Darnold, but his coach just led them to a loss against the Dolphins. So, is going back, is having that deja vu moment worth it in the long run? Or do we have to just keep moving on in the sports town that we live in? Do we have to keep replaying things in our mind that were good? Or is it time to move on from those good things and say, well, you know what, deja vu works maybe for reflection, but now it's time to grow from that. Now it's time to grow from that. And I don't know, have you ever had it? What's it like? For me, it was a very relieving experience. Because for some reason, a chapter was closed when I heard this statement, crutch to lean on, uttered out loud. Because I remember it vividly, sort of like this, word-wise, not visually, but word-wise. Someone said that, and then I heard it last night, and I was like, whoa, what's happening here? But it felt relieving. It felt like I had unclogged a part of my brain that has been so crammed, trying to do the Sunday pod, trying to do the podcast, trying to produce radio on a daily basis, that moment of deja vu for me was like clearing the brain out. Saying, take a minute to yourself and stop stressing. Stop stressing, I'll keep it real, with Alex Garrett. Alex G in NYC is my Twitter. Alex G in NYC is my Twitter. Now, one story that I haven't gotten to yet, but yesterday was an anniversary of the takeover for, and I have it here, was the takeover of the American Embassy in Tehran. On Monday, November 4th, 2019, U.S. Secretary of State Michael Pompeo, he hosted an event honoring the service and sacrifice of the former hostages of the 40th anniversary of the U.S. Embassy takeover in Tehran. This event commemorates the bravery that all former hostages and their families have shown during unimaginable circumstances. Can you imagine hostages fighting back? That's an amazing thing. He went on to say, we look forward to the day when we can again safely send U.S. diplomats to Tehran, which is in Iran, by the way. Iran, by the way. But he says it's unfortunate that the anniversary serves as a reminder of the long history of malign behavior by the Iranian regime and the danger it has posed to the United States and the world over the past 40 years. Now, yesterday at this event, he went on to say that they have sanctioned again Iranian. Here we go. They announced also that they took action against 9 appointees and Representative Ali Khamenei, the Iranian regime's unelected supreme leader, whose office is responsible for advancing Iran's radical agenda. So they're sanctioning them once again, and it's not being talked about, but it should be. And furthermore, do you know the U.S. Department of State? Keep saying Justice, State Department. Mike Pompeo, Secretary of State, is advertising as part of the Rewards for Justice program a $20 million award for information leading to the safe location, recovery, and return of Robert Levinson, who was taken hostage in Iran with the involvement of the Iranian regime. Mr. Levinson is the longest held hostage in U.S. history. So, $20 million out there to find Robert Levinson. I believe he's a journalist. Let me double check that, though, for you. He was a former DEA administrator and Federal Bureau of FBI agent who disappeared mysteriously on March 9th, 2007. So, $20 million to try and find this hostage, the longest held U.S. hostage in the history of this conflict. So, if you do have information, contact the State Department and Mike Pompeo's office and say, hey, we have an opening for him. We can bring him safely home. $20 million, Rewards for Justice program. And so, maybe we can have a good deja vu. Like the hostage, like the plane coming in at 3 a.m. from North Korea that Trump negotiated. The hostage free there. Maybe we can have a moment like that. A positive deja vu from the State Department. We can only pray. And we pray for the life of Robert Levinson. I'm Alexander Garrett, keeping it real. Alex G in NYC is my Twitter and Facebook. Alex G in NYC. And my Instagram. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. Go out and vote. Public Advocates race. If you're in Queens, DA's race. If you're in the citywide, the NYC Charter, vote on that as well. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, Election Day 2019.